What if the secret to healthier skin, cleaner homes, and a greener planet wasn't found in a lab, but rediscovered in nature? Welcome to Industry Ignited, the podcast where we uncover bold leaders and breakthrough innovations transforming the way industries evolve. I'm your host, Dr. Leeanne Aguilar, and today I'm joined by Paul Dempers, CEO of Demron Naturals in South Africa. Paul is a chemist turned entrepreneur who's reimagining personal care, home care, and pet care through natural science and ethical manufacturing. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Paul, you started your career formulating traditional detergents. What made you decide to shift towards the natural and sustainable side of chemistry?
Well, as a fresh out of college, started to formulate all these wonderful industrial cleaning products and detergents. As I was doing more research into them, I just realized the toxicity of these chemicals. Not just the acute toxicity on our bodies as we using them, but the impact in the environment as they degrade, the toxic byproducts, etc. I thought, wait, there must be safer chemicals to use than the traditional ones. Even though they were great, they worked great, people were used to the smell, the cleaning efficacy. I thought, well, there is a market for something safer, especially as the consumers were becoming more aware of what was going into their products.
Okay, so you just saw a need when you're working with the products and the chemicals that, oh, well, these, while they smell great and they work fine, they're not necessarily
Yes,
great for people's, health or the environment. Was there a
exactly.
specific aha moment that made you realize the world needed safer, cleaner products?
One was when I saw that the one cleaning surfactant used in the product, when it degraded in nature, it was a hormone disruptor. So it disrupts the reproductive ability of fishes, amphibians, etc. I was like, whoa. And then also
Oh,
when the consumer were becoming louder as to they wanted more cleaner products, because it was the age of the internet. It started, people were discovering what was going on into their cleaning products.
okay. So there's an overall just awareness in with what the ingredients were actually doing or capable of doing, not only to people, but in nature. And then you were seeing the actual
Correct.
consequences. And starting a business from scratch is no small leap. Like, how did you take that initial idea and turn it into a thriving company, especially without outside funding?
So I had the products, I developed them. I even found my customer base. I found my greenie group who said, no, Paul, we can sell for you and we can do it. So I thought, okay, I have a customer base, I have the products. Now, how do I sort of turn this into reality? I just spoke around the industry. I found people that had manufacturing space that were open to this idea. No, let's this young chap in. He can make his products and we can share the profits in some way. I still maintain ownership of my business, but they got some money from use of the manufacturing space, their staff, and we could build something together.
Okay. So instead of making a big capital investment, you were able to find partners who
Correct.
saw your vision and let you come in and rent out part of their facilities in order to manufacture. And so it was really a win-win is what I'm hearing
Correct. Indeed.
to start with
Indeed.
in that capacity.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what did this teach you about collaboration and trust in business, finding and developing these partnerships?
Yes. So number one, find the right people. So find people that share the same basic values as you do. One, set your ego aside. You don't know everything, and you can learn from each other, listening and open communication. If you can speak to each other, learn from each other, you can actually make both of your businesses grow to a level that you couldn't do by yourself. So that's what it taught me. But you have to find the right people where you can be free to have those collaborative ideas, sharing information, listening, and no ego trips.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Right. Finding people that you
Yes,
really align with. And so it
correct.
create a win-win relationship.
I was a chemist, they were engineers. So the two skills as well just fit perfectly.
Yeah. And with that, is that partnership still something that are nurturing in
Yes,
that?
it's still carrying on today for the last 14 years.
Oh, wow. And that's specifically for the detergents on the detergent side. Is that right?
Correct, indeed.
Okay.
Indeed, it is.
And then you grew. Demron Naturals developed products. Now, you expanded into personal care, home care, and even pet care from the detergents. Like, how do you
Yes.
balance science and creativity when formulating for such different markets?
Now, a lot of it is personal. I go to sleep thinking about developing products. I wake up and I'm still thinking about creating new products. So it is a passion of mine. So the passion is in the creation of the formula. So whether it's pet care, home care, skin care, the process of the science is the same. Just the creativity about creating a product for that industry would be different. And also hiring people to help with the science part, but I am sort of the creative spark of listen to the customer. What do they want? And for me, putting something together comes very naturally to me. So as it that is my passion. And so once I have that passion, I give it to my team. Put this
Yeah.
together. Let's go. And but everyone has different departments. So the detergent, different team, and then personal care, pet care is one team, because personal care, pet care, I can lump together, even though they're different chemistries, but the concept is the same.
Okay. So I'm hearing, and like you have a passion for the actual chemistry itself and for
I do.
developing the new
I do.
products. And so tell me a little bit about the evolutions though of your product line. So from detergent, you got into personal care. And I mean, how did that happen? Were you asked, were you approached by people, or is it something that you saw a need for as well and you started venturing into, or how did that evolve?
Yes, so I wasn't looking for it. The customers who bought the natural products says, Paul, we have these great cleaning products, but their customers have been asking them, but what about us, our skincare? What about body creams and body washes and shampoos? And they actually sort of forced me to develop the personal care range. But once I started, even my passion was ignited even further,
Yeah.
because I realized that it's so much more intricate. The formulations are so much more challenging. It changes with trends every year. And that's what started the personal care. And that grew. It became an animal, a beast all on its own.
Beast of its own, right?
It's a beast on
So
its
people
own,
just
yes.
right. Like you were doing really well and people saw the value of your certain products and then you started getting requests to develop new
Correct.
formulas and specifically for skincare and well
Indeed.
that's a huge compliment that people
It is. I
yeah.
haven't thought about it that way.
are-
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, no,
they had faith. They had faith in my abilities, and and they were like, "Paul, come on! I know you can do it." And yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah, they just
and
had that
that's how
belief
it
in you. They
started.
trusted you.
Indeed,
And I understand too that I mean you're international in that regard. People from other countries are even approaching you asking you to
correct.
develop new formulas. Is that right?
Indeed, they are. Yes, as all through word of mouth. I don't
Through word of mouth.
advertise. I
Okay.
don't even have a website. So somebody spoke to somebody, and then they found my number, and I mean, so I'm quite blessed
Right. So you've just been
in that
growing
regard.
by referral, basically word of mouth and expanding,
Indeed, correct.
organically. Yeah. Well, and I think that's often, I mean, the best relationships are those that are based on referral because there's already some element of trust that's in
Indeed.
place. That from my experience, anyway, as well.
No, I agree 100%, because we got through via a referral. Whoever referred you, you really trusted that person said, well, they won't steer me down the wrong road. And I always start with, Paul, I heard such good things about you. I'm like, from who? From where?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
uh, and so half the battle is one in terms of onboarding a new customer with is some sort of trust. So I don't have to have a hard sell or sale to get that person's interest. They're really coming to me with a problem that they're looking to solve.
yeah. Yeah, there's already a base for the relationship with that referral. And you've said that natural doesn't always mean safe. How do you ensure your formulations are both effective and truly non-toxic?
I always say there's no such thing as completely toxic. Even water can be toxic to some extent. So when I deal with my raw material suppliers, so what they would do, they would extract the natural extract, and they would send it to toxicologists to check the toxicity effect, allergy tests as well. So we would need all of that information before we would even consider using a natural product in one of our formulas. So it's very important to vet the ingredients, the origin, even are the pesticide residues in the products. So there's quite a lot of paperwork to ensure that the products are safe.
Oh, okay, so you have the products tested first or the ingredients tested
Test
as well?
correct, correct.
Uh-huh,
It's just
okay.
for pesticides, heavy metals, nanoparticles, GMO, all very very important before we onboard an
Yeah.
ingredient.
Yeah, because I know that it's important for you to source your ingredients locally to the best of your abilities. So even if you're manufacturing products that you send overseas, let's say, or to another country, you're
Mm,
then incorporating ingredients that are local to those suppliers or to those, I mean, vendors. Tell me a little bit about
correct.
that and why sourcing local is important to you.
Yeah, so it's a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps our economy, helps with creating job opportunities, people having more faith in our industry, our farming industry, our universities that test these products as well. And also, there's lots of greatness in our local plants that is nowhere that we can't find anywhere else in the world. So there's so much research being done on the inflammatory effects of this spruce that grows in the Kalahari or a local Cape shrub that's been done that the way university students have done so much research on them, and it's grown here, harvested it here. So that for me is one of the key reasons why I choose local. And number two, I don't have to ship something from overseas, adding to carbon footprint to get it here, and then I'm going to ship it out again. So the higher percentage we use locally, and within Africa, not just South Africa, the the better.
Okay. So you're finding, I mean, there are just certain ingredients that are available local that aren't available in other places.
Mm,
And then obviously the transportation costs and the logistics
correct.
of it all. Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, there are
Now,
some key ingredients that we can't get away from, but
uh-huh.
that's fine. But if you have certain actives that are made locally, great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I guess we're saying before that some ingredients you have to import just because they're only available other places. But choosing your suppliers, choosing those people who are creating the products ethically and sustainably is important from what I understand.
Correct. Yes. And there are wonderful local farms in South Africa and where people use botanicals to extract, and they do so much research on them that they even get international certification, and they exporting their raw materials to other all parts of the world who's using them in their products. So I can be proud of them.
Now, I know transparency and traceability are major themes in your work. How do you vet suppliers and ensure ingredients meet your ethical and sustainability standards?
So there are lots of international bodies that vet certain claims from suppliers. Like, for example, there's Cosmos in Europe that approves an ingredient. And it had to go through safety, natural sourcing, ethical standards, etc. So if it comes with a Cosmos certification, that's great. Or if it's local, we would visit the place. We have our own audit criteria. We'll check their paperwork, their process, and then we can onboard them.
Now, you mentioned that much of your innovation started with listening to customer needs, like the demand for natural products for afro and curly hair. How does consumer feedback continue to drive your product development today?
It's very important. Even when you start to listen, when you start to hear those murmurs on the on the waves of something coming, listen, even if whether it's negative or positive. Very important. Very important for me to have customers who I engage regularly with, because they hear it from their consumers of their feedback, what's happening in the market, the questions they've been asking. Why are they asking those questions? And we see a trend happening. Let's start now already. Even though we might be ahead of the wave, it happens to be
Uh-huh.
quite often where we start something and only 5 years later the product sells. But it's very important to listen to those murmurs, those whispers, before it becomes a noise in the industry. So consumer feedback, listen to consumers, and collaborating with my customers, very, very important.
Okay. So really listening to your customers and trying to get ahead of the trends when there are murmurs. Now, like how
Yes.
do you find out that information about trends? Like where do you go? Do you follow people on social media? Do you subscribe to certain feeds or websites or do you survey people? How do you
Yes.
listen?
But yes, so also it's good to belong to international cosmetic bodies. You often get information and journal articles and trend reports early. So there are many places like In Cosmetics, and Cosmoprof, and all these places where you can get these trends and discussions early with people across the world. So you'll see what's happening in Korea, in the States, and we can gauge from there. But I must say, every country, well, every region has its own needs. So what might trend in Europe might not sell in South Africa, for example. So it's important to listen where you are selling, because if you're getting Korean reports, that's probably going to be 10 years time. It will be a South African thing. Locals will want a completely different thing, different needs, different skin textures, different hair textures. So know your local market well and listen carefully.
Yeah. Okay. So there are again, industry sites that provide that information. And,
There are conferences every year where we discuss marketing trends for
uh-huh.
formulations, what ingredients. So it's important to attend these events to get information firsthand.
Know what's happening in the industry. Yeah, and that
Exactly,
really
that's
makes sense,
correct.
especially now that, I mean, you've grown from local production to international exports. So it is really important to understand what's happening in the world of those consumers in the product or in the countries
Indeed.
that you're exporting to. hmm
Correct.
so,
Good.
and since you have, you know, expanded into the international market, what strategies helped you scale globally while staying true to your mission?
One, finding co- collaborators, customers that are aligned with your business. So same set of ethical values. That's number one. Number two, getting to know the regulations of those countries well. Because what's allowed in South Africa might not be allowed in the States or Europe, vice versa. So studying the regulations very well helps my customer on that side. So I found out that they often don't know as well.
Oh,
They said, no, we saw that product in South Africa, we liked it. I'm like, yeah, but it can't be sold there because this essential oil we use, it's you identified as endangered, but for us, it's everywhere. So we can't sell this essential oil in your market, etc. So knowing regulations well does ease the process, and also letting my customer in their region drive the product. As I said, they know what their customers want. As South African, I know what our customers want. So what an American would want might be very different to a South African. So I let them guide me to formulate for their market. I will give my input, but I let them drive it because they know their market more than me. Again, putting ego aside and let them drive the
yeah.
process.
Yeah, and you said that several times. Yeah, really putting your ego
Mm.
aside to hear and listen to what the needs are in the country where your
Correct. Yes.
customers are, the countries. Yeah,
Indeed,
yeah,
I said I often say it several times because I find people don't listen. They're
yeah,
really quick to put their ideas forward, but if you sit back and listen, you'll find the
yeah.
solution.
Right. And you've built relationships that span from South Africa to Germany, the UK, and the US. How important has collaboration been to your success overall? Because, like you said, you're listening to people, you're understanding the needs. How has that factored into your success?
Oh, that is vital. As I said before, it's about them driving. The collaboration would be them driving the product. They will tell me what they want, what the consumers want, what feedback there is, negative or positive. And from there,
Yeah.
we can develop more products, change strategies based on their market. So having that nice open discussion and collaborative effort, that is key. So I said, I'm just a helper for them to sell the
Uh-huh.
product in their region.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, just taking on the role of the helper, taking on the
I'm just
role
a
of
helper.
the, yeah, problem solver, like you said before. And
Yes.
um, the one who's going in and figuring out the formulation and the chemistry behind what's going to work for that specific need in that
Exactly.
each independent or different market. So tell me a little bit about sustainable packaging and reducing carbon footprint through localized production. Because I know that the packaging is another concern because of waste. How are you addressing the challenges of the eco-friendly packaging at scale?
Yes, the eco-friendly pack, it's still a challenge. There's room for somebody to come in here and disrupt the market, but that's for some other genius to solve. But so what we try to do is find recycled packaging as much as possible. So packaging that is ready made from waste plastics. If we're exporting, we try not to export a lot of space and packaging, and let them find a local plastic or local packaging manufacturer in their region, and we can find another partner to fill the product, package it locally, and then sell. Otherwise, we're just shipping space across the ocean and adding to the carbon footprint, where we get half the space if we just ship bulk and use a local packaging company in whatever region there may be.
Okay,
Even within South Africa, between Cape Town and Johannesburg, it's about 2,000 kilometers. We ship the bulk and they fill it locally. A local manufacturer in Johannesburg filled and sold from there.
Right. Oh, I'd never thought about that before. Yeah, so it's like it would reduces the shipping costs and gas and, or fuel, all
Indeed.
that if you ship in bulk, because then there's not all the space for the
Space.
packaging. Okay.
Correct. Because I think we did a study. I think the packaging quadruples the space.
Uh-huh.
And so if you just sort of shipping a compact bulk container, a lot cheaper, a lot less gas.
Right. Yeah. And so it takes up less space and fewer shipments need to be made, etc.
Correct. Yes.
Now, the Seychelles or expansion sounds fascinating. Can you share more about your plan to empower local communities and create sustainable manufacturing there?
Yes. So many developing countries and even island nations, they don't have a big manufacturing setup. So, but they want to create their own products. So what we've done is we set up, again, a good collaboration with someone in the Seychelles, and I'll sort of teach them how to make their own products there. So certain things they might not be able to do, like an emulsification process. And so what I would do is I would ship a base of a lotion or a wash to them. From this base, you can make a lotion, a body butter, body milk, or from a wash base, you can make a hand wash, body wash, shampoo, bubble bath, etc. And you can add your own local ingredients to it, whether it's the local fruits that they have or essential oils
Uh-huh.
that they make, their vanilla. And I'll teach them how to add that effectively, safely, and collaborate with maybe institutions or universities there that can test the product for efficacy and safety, and then they can sell. So certain products they can make from scratch. If it's something that's a little bit too complex, I would send a half-finished product, not sending water, and they can add water and the other ingredients to make different products from the same.
Are you working with entrepreneurs there, or
Correct.
is it an extension of your company, or who are you working with?
Yes, so it's an entrepreneur in the Seychelles, but we have a nice joint venture going on. So they pay me for my services, technical expertise, and then I'm guiding them through the process. And we have so much fun doing it, I must say, especially
Yeah.
with that one.
So basically mentoring and educating on how to create the
Correct.
natural products and then
Correct. Yes.
enhance them, or sending your base, and then they can use their local ingredients to customize them and make,
Exactly. Yes. Indeed.
special.
And they just received the first set of machinery this week. So we'll be
Mhm.
making products from scratch. So they are really
Yeah.
developing and evolving.
Yeah.
And Seychelles, they export, I think, 90% of their products. So now they can
Hmm.
start making their own.
Very cool. Yeah. Now, the clean beauty movement has evolved from all natural to scientifically proven. How is Demron Naturals blending natural integrity with scientific innovation?
So there are such amazing things happening in the world of how some of my suppliers are doing vertical farming. of plants and then extracting the stem cells of the plants, getting the active ingredients without harvesting the plants down. So this the same plant. They just take a small piece of the plant, you use that stem cells, amplify it, get the active ingredients, which does whether it does anti-wrinkle or hydration or anti-pigmentation, and using that ingredient in the product. So instead of growing grows of plants, cutting them down, extracting the essential oils or juices, a much more sustainable way of harvesting the actives without the distraction, so much more sustainability, and you're getting the active ingredient, which has been scientifically proven to do whatever effect you need it to do in the product. So I think that for me is quite
Oh,
exciting.
wow. Yeah, that is super interesting. So they're basically just
Yeah.
growing the active ingredients in a lab and then not
Yes, yes.
having
It's
to
like
grow a whole
plants
plant.
in a vertical, exactly in a plant, and they're extracting
Uh-huh.
the plant stem cells and just making active ingredients. So a sustainable, reproducible way, not using so much land,
Yeah.
no need for
Or water
pesticides or
resources to
water
yeah.
resources, and it's
Mhm.
just sort of reproducible. And they're creating these amazing active ingredients
Wow,
that
and
we've
so
started to
are
use
do
in the
the
product.
those ingredients, lab-grown ingredients, have the same efficacy as the natural grown
You
ingredients?
better.
Really?
Because now we can isolate the active to do the job, and we
Mhm.
have some tests to show that it works so much more effectively than using,
Interesting.
let's say, the whole plant. We can still use the whole plant in the product, but then adding these actives just amplifies it and makes it so much more effective.
Okay, so it's, like, more concentrated and more yeah,
Correct.
just yeah, how cool.
Correct.
Now, what emerging trends are you most excited about in the world of sustainable personal care and biotechnology?
Okay. One was the one that I've just mentioned now, using plant biotechnology to get active ingredients. The second one is what they've called circular beauty, is when you look at the entire process of developing and making a product and make sure that each step is sustainable. The consumers want to know each step. Number one, the ingredients. Where does it come from? Is it because is it made from waste material? Because let's say there's waste material from the food industry that can be used to make a cosmetic product instead of throwing it away. People like that story. The packaging, is it from recyclable material? Can it be recycled or reused or repurposed? How was the product made? Was it made with energy efficient means, less heat, less water, less wastage? And that I've noticed that the consumers want to know that entire process. Let's say there's magnesium in the product. Where was it from? Where was it mined? Was it made through? Was it mined with the ethical base? Was there child labor involved? Was there slave labor involved? So people want to know the entire story about the product, where it came from, each ingredient, and how is the product going to help reduce waste, and how is it
Right.
more sustainable? So that's definitely it's always been there, but it's becoming more
Mhm.
louder and louder.
Okay. And so how are people getting educated about what ingredients or where the ingredients come from in products?
Yeah, so it will be on often companies' websites. They will have the full story. I've noticed
Mhm.
of where it's been made. We're supporting local communities, and also they are being vetted and certified now to prove to the consumer these products um, sort of are made in a sustainable way. Um,
Okay.
there are lots of sort of natural organic stores now. Let's say
Mhm.
if I want to put my product there, they would vet every ingredient, every process. I need to have certified documentation before they would allow the product to be sold. So they can say for their store, they are promoting these ethical standards, sustainable standards, etc.
Right. So there's just a lot more transparency I'm hearing, and so that,
Indeed.
um, transparency then informs customers and then also holds the companies accountable as well.
Correct. Correct indeed.
Yeah. And Paul, finally, for aspiring founders, especially in developing markets, what advice would you give about turning a passion for sustainability into a profitable and impactful business?
I would say clear vision, clear set of ethics, because the industry will test you every day to sway for a profit. Stick to your ethics. Look for the problems, because where there's a problem, there's profit in the solution. Number two and three, don't be too rigid, and don't be scared to pivot, because where corporates will take long to make a decision, as an upcoming entrepreneur, as world climates change, economies change, you can pivot and readjust, find the solution quickly, and make money.
Yeah, right. So just being adaptable, being willing to
Being
shift and being
adaptable.
flexible,
Correct, yes.
and
Yes.
also being, ethical, I think is so important too.
Ethical,
Just really,
and speak to people. Don't be shy to speak to the local industry. Join the committees, join
Mhm.
the industry bodies. From that, you'll often hear where problems lie, and that might just spark your idea for a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, I think that's been a theme, I think, through this conversation is just really having that listening to people, to clients to help solve problems. You really need to understand what people are the problems they're facing. And so that listening really has driven your innovation is just really being able to understand what the needs of your customers are.
Correct,
Yeah.
indeed. And once you can solve the problem and they're happy with the outcome, it's no better feeling.
Yeah. And then they spread the word and then you get more
Indeed,
business.
indeed.
So
And
it's a win-win
thank you.
situation, right?
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Right. Well, Paul, thank you for joining me today and for sharing your story of purpose driven innovation. Your blend of science, ethics, and creativity is an inspiration for entrepreneurs everywhere. And for listeners who want to learn more about Demron Naturals or connect with you, where can they find you online or follow your work?
So the best way is to find me through my LinkedIn page, where you found me. You can look for Demron Naturals or Paul Dempers, or you can email me at paul@demron.co.za.
Well, wonderful. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for listening. Be sure to follow and subscribe to Industry Ignited and join us next time as we continue to explore the leaders who are shaping the future of business sustainability and innovation. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep igniting industry.